Are you worried that you can't afford a down payment on a home? Here's some good news. If you're a first time home buyer, you might qualify for down payment assistance provided through either a government agency or a private organization. Hi there, Troy Nelson with eXp Realty, and welcome to another edition of Troy's Tuesday Talks, where we educate buyers, sellers, and investors in the Northern Virginia area. Today, we're going to talk about 14 first time homebuyer programs with our friends from homebuyer.com. A number of obstacles can make it difficult to buy a first home. One of the biggest challenges facing first-time buyers is not having enough money for a down payment. With a traditional mortgage, borrowers are typically required to pay 20% of the home's purchase price up front. For many first-time home buyers, coming up with a 20% down payment can be difficult, if not impossible. The good news is that a down payment is no longer the obstacle that it used to be. After the video, stay tuned for more information on the programs that are offered by the Troy Nelson Realty team for buyers, sellers, and investors in the Northern Virginia area.
There are so many ways to buy your first home without making a big down payment or without making any down payment at all. We're going to talk about 14 of them. I'm Dan with homebuyer.com. Let's get into it. Thank you for watching. We are homebuyer.com, the mortgage company made for first-time homebuyers. And on this channel, you will find timely, relevant mortgage and real estate information so you can buy your first home with confidence. We're qualified to talk about these things because we're an actual mortgage company. This is what we do all day, every day. So before you forget, hit the subscribe button so you can get our updates and to be a better home buyer. Also, if you are not already working with a mortgage company and you want to know how much home you can get approved to buy at today's mortgage rates, get your mortgage approved in advance before you start your search in only 3 minutes at homebuyer.com/fast. In this video, we're going to talk about 14 ways you can buy a home with little or no money down. It's what we call a rundown video, a survey of your options as a first-time buyer with links out to additional information if you need it, and with the option to skip ahead, go straight to mortgage pre-approval if that's more of what you need right now. Now, none of these options that we highlight in this video require you to make a down payment of more than 5% on a home. Many allow for no down payment whatsoever, which we should point out comes with the same low interest rates as every other mortgage loan. In other words, the programs that we talk about here aren't going to penalize you or push your rates way up just because you're putting down less than 20%. That is a relic of the 1990s, an ancient practice that affected buyers of a different era. If there's anything that you leave this video with as a takeaway, it's that to make a small down payment or make no down payment, that is not a risky financial choice. It's actually the opposite, because when you put less of your own money in the transaction, it means the bank is putting more of its money in the transaction. So it's the bank that takes the risk with its money on the line, not you. And yet, your mortgage rates aren't any worse. Your mortgage terms aren't any worse. Even getting your mortgage approved is no more difficult. Plus, you get to buy your home without taking all the cash in your bank account and putting it to the seller. So the typical first-time buyer spends 7 years saving for that first down payment, just waiting, and home prices rise and they get harder to chase down. And what we're saying is you don't have to wait all that time. If you want to put down less than 20% and buy a home now, go ahead and do that. You can stop renting sooner on your schedule. And here are all the ways that you can do it. You can buy your first home, start your American dream. We're going to do this by category. First, we'll talk about basic mortgages, government-backed programs that allow for low and no down payment, some with special qualifications, some not. Then we'll go into cash grants and special programs that have a few requirements by profession or income. And then last, we'll talk about proposed programs, tax credits, incentive programs, actual money to help you buy a home. And remember, you can skip ahead to any point in the video or go back using the chapter selections in the video description below. So let's start with your low and no down payment mortgages, of which there are 5 main programs. And this is a rundown video, so we'll offer a few quick details on each and remind you there's links in the program to the programs in the description. You can read more or get your mortgage pre-approved. You can also ask your questions in the chat. I respond to every comment personally and can help if you get stuck. Okay. Option 1, Home Ready. The Home Ready is not a mortgage type. It's a brand name for a home affordability program. One of the government group, Fannie Mae, several low down payment 30-year fixed rate mortgage loans. The Home Ready program lets first-time buyers put 3% down and get reduced mortgage insurance premiums and get subsidized mortgage rates through another program known as the First-Time Home Buyer Mortgage Rate Discount. And you can watch more on that program here. Home Ready is available to buyers with household income that is at or below the median household income for an area. And the program will accept almost all credit scores and types, so if you're buying a home, you should always ask whether your mortgage can be Home Ready eligible because it is one of the best deals that first-time home buyers have going. Option 2, Home Possible. Home Possible is another branded mortgage, a 30-year fixed-rate low-down payment mortgage, but this one is from Fannie Mae cousin Freddie Mac, which is why Home Possible is actually almost a carbon copy of the last program we discussed. The biggest difference between Home Ready and Home Possible is that Home Possible requires a higher minimum credit score, about 40 points higher. So why do people use Home Possible if the required credit scores are higher? You probably wouldn't, except if you're buying a multi-unit home that's 2 to 4 units, and that is because Home Possible is designed as a mortgage for multi-generational households, where parents, grandparents, children, cousins are living together in one home, under one roof, with multiple people contributing to the monthly payment. That's how the program's designed. And for scenarios like this, Freddie Mac's program is looser about getting approved and more flexible on sources for down payment cash in ways that Home Ready isn't. So if you're a multi-generational household, you're buying a multi-unit home, Home Possible can be your low down payment program. Option 3, the Conventional 97. Conventional 97 is named literally, it's a conventional loan, which means it's backed by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and is for 97% of the purchase price. Conventional 97. The Conventional 97 program was remade the last few years. It used to be for ultra-high credit scores only. Now it's for almost everyone. The catch-all low down payment loan for single-unit homes, which include your typical house, condos, townhomes, row homes. Conventional 97 is 3% down. There are no maximum income levels for buyers who want to use it. Rates are often really good too, and those are the 3 down payment loans offered through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. You have other government-backed options available to you too, of course, like option 4, the FHA loan. FHA loans are actually FHA endorsed loans because the FHA doesn't make loans, it insures them for lenders. And the FHA's insurance policy says it will approve payouts for loans with as little as 3.5% down on a home for buyers with 580 credit scores or higher in all income types in all 50 states. But that is just what's said out loud. The FHA makes exceptions, like on credit scores for buyers with scores down to 500, or for buyers with no credit score at all. As a first-time buyer, you will find FHA mortgage rates be a little bit higher than conventional rates on average. And as of today, early 2023, mortgage insurance on an FHA loan is also higher as compared to other loan types, which is why the FHA mortgage is the encompassing catch-all loan down payment loan for first-time buyers. I wouldn't call it a last resort loan, but there are usually less expensive choices that a first-time buyer can make, like this next program, option 5, the USDA loan. USDA loans are loans backed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They're sometimes called rural loans, but rural in this sense is the Census Bureau's definition of rural, which is any area that's not considered urban. And that's defined by density of population. USDA lets home buyers in rural areas purchase homes with 100% financing, no money down, with reduced rate interest rates and mortgage insurance. The only requirements beyond where you're buying is that your credit score is decent, doesn't have to be great, but decent, and that you're buying a home that's modest and that you're of modest means. USDA loans are usually the most affordable of all the government's home affordability mortgage lines. So if you're buying anywhere that is not a city, that can be suburbs or farm towns, the boonies, give a look at USDA loans and check your eligibility online. We've got to look up for USDA homes right on our website at homebuyer.com. The link for that is down in the description. Option 6, the VA loan. VA and VA loan stands for Veterans Affairs, as in the U.S. Department of. VA loans are 100% mortgages. They're no money down. They're available exclusively to veterans of the armed services, active duty military, surviving spouses, to members of the National Guard and Reserves, plus a few other specialty roles. VA loans can be used for any home in any state or U.S. territory for any eligible buyer at comparatively low interest rates. If you have VA benefits available to you, look at doing a VA mortgage before other options because it is an aggressive combination of rates, fees, and ongoing costs with no down payment required to buy your first home. terrific program. Let's hear it for the GI Bill that made it possible. And that is the 6 off-the-shelf suite of low and no down payment government-backed mortgage loans. This is a good list. It's a great place to start for any buyer, especially a first-timer. Next, let's move into special mortgage programs that help make homes more affordable. And this section covers cash grants, incentive programs, and forgivable mortgage. Many of these things can make it so you don't have to save as much to get all the way up to 20%, and you can start owning your own home faster. Option 7 is the National Homebuyers Fund. The National Homebuyers Fund is the first of several grant programs that are available to first-time buyers through a nonprofit public benefit corporation. First-time buyers can get up to 5% of a home's purchase price paid out as cash, with a string attached that if you move, sell, or refinance within the first 5 years, or if you cease to make this home your main residence, you have to pay the grant back completely, all of it right back to the fund. Also, renters can't apply to the NHF on their own. You can only do that through a lender. So we put a link in the description. There's a phone number you can call and get a list of participating mortgage companies in your area for NHF. Option 8, forgivable mortgages. Forgivable mortgages are exactly what they sound like. They're mortgages that can be forgiven, cleared out, marked as paid, just for you, the buyer, staying on plan. There's second mortgages, which means they're for smaller amounts and most often replace the typical down payment, so for 3% or 5%. When combined with a first mortgage, which could be a standard 30-year fixed-rate loan, a forgivable mortgage brings a first-time buyer up to 100% of their purchase price with none of their own money to the table. No cash, no down payment, no nothing. Also, most forgivable loans don't require monthly payments. There's nothing due on them. So long as you pay your main mortgage and stay in your home for some number of years, usually it's 5. Okay, forgivable mortgages get wiped out. You have to request them at the time of your main mortgage application, though, so make sure you ask about it when you apply, and you can do that anytime, 3 minutes, at homebuyer.com/fast. Option 9 is doctor loans. Doctor loans are not an actual loan type. Doctor loans is just the name the lenders use for no down payment mortgage available to doctors only. MDs, DDSs, osteopaths. Program caters to a higher income crowd who are also good targets for related financial products like credit cards and auto loans and investments, which is why doctor loans are almost exclusively offered through retail banks, big banks with storefronts, who want your mortgage and your other financial business. So if you have a medical degree or you're currently studying to be a doctor, doctor loans can be a good way to buy your first home with little or no money down and lots of marketing material clogging up your inbox. Option 10, good neighbor next door. Good neighbor next door is another you have to work at a certain job to use this program. And here, those jobs are best categorized as neighborhood heroes, teachers, educators, firefighters, law enforcement, first responders. Through Good Neighbor Next Door, people who work in the communities that they're buying in can get homes for half off their listing price, actually half, and with a down payment of as little as $100, actually $100, with the caveat that only certain homes are eligible for purchase, and those are homes that are listed for sale at HUD.gov, the government website, for homes that were repossessed, taken back as part of foreclosure. And buyers should know that HUD homes are sold as is with no repairs made, and some are in a less than livable condition, but they're also half off. HUD.gov is the site. Option 11, down payment assistance programs, DPAs. Down payment assistance programs are state and local programs that give down payment monies to first-time buyers of homes. They're tough to find because programs are run by charitable groups, neighborhood communities, not-for-profit organizations, and sometimes are within small offices in a municipal government. The down payment assistance programs, they break down into 2 categories, loans and deferred mortgages. Loans are often second mortgages that replace the typical down payment that a buyer would make, which is why they're called down payment assistance, and gives favorable borrowing terms. So think 1% for a mortgage rate or something similarly advantageous. That is the first type of DPA. The second type is deferred mortgages, which is a loan with no payments due for a while, sometimes 5 years, sometimes until you sell. And a deferred mortgage gives you the money for your down payment, but doesn't make you pay it back until some other event occurs. So it's like a forgivable mortgage, but this one never goes away. Eventually, you have to pay it back. To find down payment assistance, look local. New programs are introduced every year. Old programs get retired. The HUD website keeps a mostly current list of what you can use. That link is below in the description. Option 12, which kind of breaks down into option 12A and 12B because they're so similar. State and local cash grants for buyers. with local closing cost assistance programs. So this is an offshoot of the last one of down payment assistance, but smaller in scope, smaller sizes. Cash grants for buyers and closing cost assistance. They're designed to reduce the amount of cash needed to buy your first home beyond the money that you use for your down payment. So it's for things like real estate taxes, estate fees, title insurance costs, and depending on where you live and how well budgeted your local programs are, there could be up to $5,000 available. Again, check the HUD website. You can see what's available. And that closes out the special mortgages section of this video. So we'll move on to section 3, which is programs in Congress. This next section is the last of the first-time homebuyer programs. Okay, and that is mortgage and first-time homebuyer legislation that's made possible through acts of Congress. And we start with option 13, the $15,000 first-time homebuyer tax credit. The $15,000 first-time homebuyer tax credit is sometimes called the Biden homebuyer tax credit, or simply the Biden tax credit, or just the tax credit. It's a bill that gives first-time homebuyers up to $15,000 in a federal tax credit right from your tax bill, just for buying your first home. The tax credit was introduced in the last session of Congress in 2020, and when it passes, it's expected to be retroactive to that date to include all homes purchased since December 31st, 2020. Eligible buyers from years past can amend their prior year's tax returns and get a credit as a refund from the Treasury, and buyers going forward can report their purchases on their current year returns for credit against amount due, up to $15,000. We have more on this program in the link in the description. Be sure to check it out. Lastly, option 14, the $25,000 Down Payment Toward Equity Act. The Down Payment Toward Equity Act is a cash grant program for first-time buyers who are also first-generation buyers, which means you're a first-time buyer and the first person in your family to own a home, with 2 exceptions. 1, your parents or legal guardians lost their home to foreclosure, or 2, you lived in foster care at any point in your life. The Down Payment Toward Equity Act gives up to $25,000 to eligible buyers, which can be used for anything purchase-related. Down payment, for closing costs, homeowners insurance, for anything. The bill was introduced in the last Congress. It had a good mix of sponsors. We expect to be reintroduced again in this Congress. You can make sure that you subscribe so you can hear exactly when your credits and grants can be claimed. So that is all 14 programs for first-time homebuyers. Ask your questions, leave your comments in the chat. I respond to everyone personally, and remember that we've left links in the description to help you do more. I'm Dan with homebuyer.com, the mortgage company made for first-time homebuyers. Happy home buying.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of satisfaction you get when you buy your first home. Before considering how much money you need for a down payment, or whether you'll need assistance to cover it, start the process of getting pre-approved for your mortgage. That way, you know how much house you can afford before saving for a down payment and closing on a property. Are you ready to embark on the home buying process? Take action by contacting the Troy Nelson Realty team to get your RWA's certificate. With this RWA's certificate program, you instantly become highly qualified, ready, willing, and able to purchase your perfect home. Well, that's our show for today. As always, if you want to get one step closer to your goal of buying, selling, or investing in Northern Virginia, simply call me to set up an appointment. We offer no cost, no obligation educational presentations to determine your needs, then work towards helping you achieve your real estate goals. Until next time, this is Troy Nelson. Talk to you soon.